I was sitting across from a friend, listening to him rave about a new business idea. He was convinced it would be the next big thing. His logic? It just feels right. A week later, he poured thousands into it. A month later, it crashed, and all he could say was, "I don't get it, it made sense." That's when it hit me. How many decisions do we make based not on truth, but on illusion, on feelings, biases, and mental shortcuts we don't even realize we're using? That question led me down a rabbit hole, and at the end of it was The Art of Thinking Clearly by Rolf Dobelli. Hello, I am Alloy, and welcome to AudioFi Books, where you will find excellent audio summaries of books in a very easy and interesting way. If you want to learn from new books, do subscribe to the channel. Let's get started with today's book. So here's the deal. You're not as rational as you think. None of us are. In fact, our brains are wired to be biased. Dobelli's book is like holding a mirror to your mind. It walks you through 99 short chapters, each one revealing a different mental trap. But don't worry, I won't list all 99. What I will do is guide you through the most powerful, most relatable, and often painfully accurate ones that may be shaping your life right now. Let's start with a question. Have you ever made a decision simply because everyone else was doing it? You're not alone. That's called social proof. When we're unsure, we look to others for guidance. It's why laugh tracks work on sitcoms, why people flock to restaurants with long lines, and why fads spread like wildfire. The scary part? You might not even believe in what you're doing, but the group gives you confidence, even if they're wrong. Take investing, for example. Most people jump in when the market is hot because everyone's doing it. But when it crashes, panic, sell, losses. Why? Because we didn't think, we followed. Then there's the sunk cost fallacy, one of the cruelest traps. You've probably experienced this. Maybe you stayed in a toxic relationship because you'd already invested years, or you sat through a terrible movie because you paid for the ticket. Logically, the past is gone. You can't get it back. But emotionally, we hate the idea of wasting effort, so we throw in even more. It's like trying to rescue a sinking ship by adding more weight. Next comes confirmation bias, our brain's personal cheerleader. It tells us we're right, even when we're not. We seek out information that supports our beliefs and ignore everything that contradicts them. It's why two people can watch the same news and come away with completely different conclusions. And our minds love stories. That's the narrative fallacy. Humans are natural storytellers. We crave cause and effect, beginning and end. But reality is messy. Sometimes things happen without a reason. But instead of accepting chaos, we stitch together stories to explain it. Stories that feel good, but might not be true. This is dangerous, because if we mistake narrative for fact, we build our beliefs on fiction. Have you ever overestimated your abilities? Thought you were a better driver, investor, communicator, or judge of character than most? Welcome to the overconfidence effect. Studies show that people consistently rate themselves above average. It's not arrogance, it's human nature, but it blinds us. It keeps us from questioning ourselves, from learning, from growing. And when you do something successfully once, your brain creates a shortcut. That shortcut becomes a rule. That's the outcome bias. Instead of judging a decision by how it was made, we judge it by how it turned out. So if you got lucky on a bad choice, you might repeat it thinking it was wise. The problem? Luck runs out. Now imagine you're asked to guess how much time it takes to read 300 pages. You say, probably 5 hours. Then someone says, actually, most people take 10. Suddenly your guess shifts. That's the anchoring effect. The first number we hear becomes an anchor, even if it's irrelevant. Salespeople use this all the time. They show you the expensive item first, so the cheaper one seems reasonable. Let's not forget survivorship bias, the reason we glorify winners and ignore the graveyard of failure. We hear about the entrepreneur who dropped out of college and became a billionaire. So we think, maybe I should drop out too. But we forget the thousands who did the same and failed. We're only looking at the survivors, not the whole picture. You ever get into an argument where you both just keep going in circles? That's the availability heuristic at play. Your brain latches on to recent or dramatic examples, like fearing plane crashes after seeing one in the news, even though driving is far riskier. Emotionally vivid memories feel more true, even if they're not. Now here's the kicker. Knowing all this doesn't make you immune. Even Dobelli admits he falls into these traps. But being aware gives you power. It makes you pause before jumping to conclusions. It makes you question not just the world, but your own mind. You start to notice the halo effect, when one good trait overshadows flaws, like thinking someone is smart just because they're attractive, or assuming a company is ethical because it's successful. You recognize the contrast effect, how your perception is shaped by what came before. A $100 dinner feels expensive after a $10 lunch, but cheap after a $500 feast. You learn that loss aversion is why you hate losing more than you love winning. That's why investors panic when stocks dip. Why breakups hurt more than new love excites. Our brains are hardwired to avoid pain, even when chasing gain is smarter. And perhaps most important of all, you learn to slow down. Dobelli isn't asking you to be perfect. He's inviting you to think twice, to pause before reacting, to ask, is this a bias speaking, or is it the truth? Because clarity isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being honest with yourself. It's about noticing the invisible strings that pull your thoughts and learning to cut them one by one. In the end, the art of thinking clearly isn't a textbook. It's a mirror, a reflection of all the ways we fool ourselves, and a reminder that awareness is the first step to wisdom. And if you've listened this far, you've already